How's it going, everybody? Got a replay from Goji here on Khorne up against Incy's Black on the Dark Elves. This is also going to be on Conquest as opposed to the usual land battle, but we all know it's essentially just land battle with a point. But it's simple as is. There's not much different here, especially when it comes to competitive play. Sure, obviously somebody can win out on the point, but if you're not putting anything on the point, you're not challenging at all ever, and you're just kiting, or you manage to rush and still not capture the point or put anything there to challenge it, then that's kind of on you. But anyways, the mode itself, it's not going to be much different in your usual Vermin League game than a land battle, especially between two players who have a lot of history with land battle. And that's going to be Goji and Black today. For Koji's army, we do have Valkia, of course, with Spear of Slapnir and Demon Shield. Of course, she's a really quick anti-large duelist, can get around the battlefield pretty quickly. Spear of Slapnir is good on it's fantastic on Dark Shards, even so on Bleak Swords, though not as worth it value-wise. Still good nonetheless. Can even do decent into Cold One Knights if they're like bunched up, but you mostly want to use them on Dark Shards, range in general. Infantry if you need be. But otherwise, yeah, she's just great. She can poke down the dragon characters, which are very common for most Dark Elf games, even High Elves, but mostly, especially whenever you're up against Incy's Black, who loves to run dragon characters. But yeah, we have for the rest of them, we have a Skarr Blood Wrath here, Khorne's undying champion, or rather immortal champion. He's died plenty of times, but he constantly comes back. He is relentless, and Khorne loves to see him fight and tear heads off from their bodies, from their shoulders, in the name of Khorne. So he constantly revives them, and that is obvious in his abilities with the blood tallying, incoming healing modifier up to 50% once he's reached up to 150 kills, which is obviously very easy for a man like Skarr Bloodwrath, who is not only anti-infantry, but also just a monstrous duelist. But yes, you think to yourself, well, Dreaded Saurian, there's not much healing, or rather, there's no healing at all, really, aside from regen on the Khorne side. Here's where that comes into play. He has this wonderful ability called Bloodborne. It gives him that plus 20% heal for that it only procs whenever he's 25% HP or less, but it does proc, and it doesn't have a limited use. It happens every 120 seconds if he's 25% or less. Just has that cooldown. So you have Bloodborne going, and you have Blood Tally maxed out. He's gonna get an insane amount of healing. So that's where you can see he has a lot of survivability. And again, he's just a brutal duelist. He has Sundered armor as well in his melee attacks, which is very nice. Reducing armor by 30, magical attacks as well, and then insane stats with 70, 48, 529 with Frenzy, and 55 charge bonus, plus 80 armor and high leadership. And not only that, he has Scaramor's Butchers, which grant sundered armor to nearby allies, which is very nice on these dual weapon warriors who can, it'll help them chew through like Spearman armor. Spearman don't actually have a lot, I think they have 50, but like in general, like if they're against anything high armored, like Cold One Knights, for example, which have 90, it's going to reduce that by quite a bit and help out a lot in that fight. But yeah, and even on like dragon characters too, also have 90 armor. But yeah, it's a very nice ability. I like it a lot. Definitely would bring that anytime I bring Skarr. And it gives some minor weapon damage increases, which is, not too shabby. It's 5%. It's no big deal. But specifically that Sundered armor is really nice. But yeah, that is Skarr Bloodwrath. Let's see how he does. He is Khorne's champion. He should do great against the Dark Elves. They should dread the fact that he is on the battlefield. We have Khorne Gores and Marauders with dual weapons, which will do wonderful into Bleak Swords, which is generally just peak chaff. They will beat back standard Marauders, I think, dominantly, I would have to say, but I could be wrong. They do have 44 to 36 higher melee stats and otherwise on the Bleak Swords. I would think the Bleak Swords would win, especially with the murderous prowess. But nonetheless, let's go into the rest of the army real quick. A whole bunch of marauders, some more marauders on both sides. Minos of Khorne with great weapons, of course. They help deal with Cold One Knights and Cold One Chariots and Dragon characters. Chaos Warhounds to get on range characters. Chaos Furies in the air, both sides. Dark Elf side, we have a Supreme Sorceress on a Black Dragon with just Soul Stealer to be punishing blobs, healing herself up. Double Scourge Runner Chariots to shoot at Minotaurs of Khorne. No surprise there. Anti-large bullets, or rather arrows, to shoot at those guys, poke them down, and also again to shoot at anything else as well, and run through Chaos Warriors if need be. Bleak Swords for the front line. Black Arc Corsairs to kite the Khorne infantry. We also have Cold One Knights and some Dark Riders on both flanks as well. Cold One Knights obviously going to do great, especially nowadays with their buff. But yeah, you need them to deal with the Minos, and they can even do incredibly well into infantry thanks to their buff. So, very common nowadays. Scourge Runner Chariots get a nice charge in there on the Marauders, and terrify those guys with the help of the Supreme Sorcerers. Minos and Chaos Warhounds try to catch up, and they're getting a little nibbles here and there on the Scourge Runner, but nothing too noteworthy. The first Spear Slapner going down on the Bleak Swords, absolutely obliterating them. Marauders take some friendly fire as well, but it's mostly damage from the Cold One Knights who do charge them and do get caught out by Skarr. On the other side, we have Minos getting into the fight there with the Bleak Swords, going to help try to terrify those guys, but they're going to back out real quick because they don't want to be in there with the same combat on infantry. That's not their job. Khorne Gores and Marauders of Khorne make easy work of the Bleak Swords. Cold One Knights continuing to push past, though they are being disrupted by Furies at the moment. They need to get off of those guys, or rather need receive some support from the Dark Riders to help deal with those Furies, so they can provide support elsewhere. Big Soul Stealer going down here, hitting Valkia and some Chaos Furies and Minos, which is very nice. Can be healing up that Supreme Sorceress character. Furies get finished off, but the Cold One Knights in return are possibly going to be finished off there by the Minos as well. Valkia jumps down there on the Black Arc Corsair, trying to shut them down, stop them from shooting, or not shut them down, but get them to stop shooting, disrupt them. Demon Shield popped to reduce any damage coming from those Cold One Knights. In return, she's going to be able to poke off models here and there with her anti-large spear. Skarr Bloodwrath just murdering bodies, ripping through Bleak Swords and Cold One Knights and Dark Riders, making mincemeat of them, doing Khorne's bloody work. Khorne Gores are going to continue trying to push past into the back line of the Dark Elves, get on top of those Black Arc Corsairs, maybe even catch out the Scourge Runner Chariots, hoping that Black is not paying attention. Chaos Furies chasing off the Cold One Knights, very nice value-wise, making sure that those guys do not come back on the field. They don't have much models left or HP left in general, so it's not that big of a deal if they do come back. Some Bleak Swords there, capturing the point, can help out in the late game, hopefully. Skarr is going to continue pushing back. This man is a behemoth. He's going to try to get... he's going to actually turn around and get on top of those Cold One Knights, who have taken an immense amount of damage right there from that first charge in there on the Minos. And yeah, Skarr is turning that battle around even more so in the Minos' favor. We are going to get a breath attack going down on the Minos. Not do a lot of damage there, do a little bit of chip, but it's going to provide that nice melee attack debuff of 30%, bringing them down to 36. Minus 10 from the noxious gas is pretty nice. Very, very nice. Very nasty. Player Flapnir going down to the Black Arc Corsairs and the Cold One Knights. Going to do a pretty nice bit of chip damage. Can I say words, please? And otherwise, not going to do a whole lot. They're going to continue kiting away the Khorne Gores. Cold One Knights do also get finished off by Khorne Gores and Minos. And what else do we have left here for the Dark Elf side? We have 2 Scourge Runner Chariots, double Black Arc Corsairs, and the Supreme Sorceress with a single unit of Cold One Knights, who try to save their Supreme Sorceress, who was getting surrounded by Minos. But the Cold One Knights are going to sacrifice themselves to Supreme to save their Sorceress, and it will be a brutal sacrifice for sure, as the Minos chop them down to pieces. Same with Skarr as well. But in return, we do get a nice Soul Stealer going down on the Minos, hitting Skarr and Valkia as well. They do have, of course, spell resistance, both of them, so it is going to reduce a lot of that damage, but it is going to heal up the Supreme Sorceress nicely. The Khorne Gore's unbreakable ability procs, and it's just about to finish off. There we go. I didn't go over that. They do have Fury of the Skull Khorne, giving them unbreakable for 22 seconds, similar to, very, very akin to the Khorne rather, excuse me, Kislev passive ability on their units, giving them unbreakable, which is very nice if they're 50%, if their HP is 50% or less. Khorne are very nice mobile anti-large AP unit. Supreme Sorceress does jump down there, try to catch out the Minos, but we do have Relentless Rage going down on them. Very nice, meaning none of their models can die, and they have Unbreakable. Very nice there from Goji, throwing that on top of them really quickly in the pinch. And they're going to continue to catch out some Scourge Runner Chariots, maybe even cutting down a model, down to 2 models so far on this Scourge Runner Chariot. We have some Chaos Warhounds can come back. Cold One Knights can come back as well, but they only have 4 models. Not really much of a difference here. Spirit Sorceress, very, very risky jumping down here on the Minos, especially with Valkia nearby, but she is going to do that, hopefully trying to get a terror route on those Minos. We do have another model or so killed there on the Minos. Very nice. Leadership at 13. If they can get some more damage in there on the Minos, surround on them, they could get them off the field, but Valkia is continuing to chase that Supreme Sorceress, so she's got to be very, very, very careful. And, she's going to start moving away, hopefully getting back into the sky, and she does. Minos still steady at 10 models. These Black Corsairs did get caught out, unfortunately for them, and they will possibly be routing here soon. 40 models left. 5 leadership at the moment. Hopefully, we're going to be able to come back if they don't get chased off, but we do have some Marauders chasing them at the moment. Same with Skarr, who's going to just jump in there and possibly get a few kills. Actually, he's not going to even bother with them. He's going to continue chasing after the rest of the Dark Elf army. So we're just gonna have a little bit of kiting. I'm gonna speed things up a little bit as they shoot a little of their shots into Valkia. Would probably prefer to shoot those into, say, the Marauders or something instead, because Valkia is just gonna dodge those with her very tiny model. You do have 4 shots left on those Scourge Runners, and on this one 0. So might as well just throw these guys in to probably start just hitting these infantry while the Minotaurs are so far back, because you can just get some free charges, free damage in on those guys, because Skarr is obviously not going to catch up to them, and Valky is clearly busy with the Supreme Sorceress. But we do have, we're just going to wait. It seems like the Khorne player is going to try, or rather the Dark Elf player, excuse me, is going to try to kite things out, use the remainder of the ammunition with 2 shots left. But it probably really doesn't matter at the end of the day, especially if you're using them on Valkia. But, you know, obviously you got to play to your advantage, which is you have the mobility, which Khorne does not. But yeah, Valkia is trying to get chased out, or rather, Supreme Sorceress is trying to catch out Valkia here with the help of the Supreme Sorceress, rather the Exorger and Chariots and the Black Orc Corsairs. But obviously it's not panning out that great for her, as she hasn't really landed a single hit. The dreaded flying at Lord animations, trying to charge down a single entity unit. But she does finally land 2 shots. Also runs down throws down a Soul Stealer there, hitting Skarr, the Marauders, and yeah, a whole bunch of Marauders healing her up very nicely. Valky is finally taking some good hits there from the Supreme Sorceress. Might end up getting killed here. 857 HP down to 712, and Valkyrie gets freaking terrified. Very nice, because she lost her frenzy. She no longer has that ITP. Very, very nice. Supreme Sorceress might be able to just kill her here. That could be pretty brutal and might be able to change things around for the Dark Elf side. Balance of power is looking still to be in Khorne's favor, probably because of Skarr, but Valkia does end up going down. Infantry routing, and all that seems to be left here for the Khorne side is a bit of Minos with 6 models left and 884 HP, and rocking up 0 leadership at the moment as the dragon character gets nearby. They're probably getting a rout as soon as she lands and attacks, and yep, there they go. Don't even have to lose a model before they run away, and they actually do lose a model, never mind. But Black Orc Corsairs and Supreme Sorceress, are these 2 going to be enough to kill Skarr? I mean, the Supreme Sorceress does have 3,000 HP. Skarr is at 3,000. He still has his healing ability. Black Orc Corsairs are probably going to end up routing, however. They only have 15 leadership left, 1,000 HP, and there's actually, he doesn't have terror. I thought he had terror or fear or anything, but no, he doesn't. Yeah, if Skarr just like hits him a few more times, they're going to rout. But in return, Supreme Sorceress gets these Marauders off the field, as they attempt to come back and support their exalted champion, the Skarr Blood Wrath. And so he no longer has any support coming. Though, actually, we do have some Marauders here and another over here coming. That which might be able to help out a lot with dealing with the Supreme Sorceress. Black Orc Corsair still hanging in there, fighting to the bitter end with their Supreme Sorceress. Skarr gets another hit in there. He's doing a lot of work there, reducing the Supreme Sorceress armor down to 45, or rather minus 30, and then a minus 15 from exhausted. This might be able to turn. Skarr is probably going to be able to clutch this. We'll see here. Though we have a Soul Stealer coming down, Marauders get terrified. She's healing from that Soul Stealer. Skarr in return Skarr has not received his heal yet, I do not believe. So that might be able to turn things around if he takes another hit or two. He delivers another hit into Supreme Sorceress. If his leadership can hold steady, he might be able to receive his heal. He's up to 24% incoming healing modifier. Come on, Skarr Bloodwrath. Come on. He does get another hit in there. He does get that heal. I think he just got the heal. Did he? I think he just got the freaking heal. Nope. Actually, I was wrong. Bloodborne does have one use. I'm crazy. I thought it didn't have that heal. I thought it didn't have a max amount of uses, which would have been pretty ridiculously broken. But he does end up getting that one heal, and that turns the balance of power around, and the Supreme Sorceress dips out. Her leadership is not able to hold on with that balance of power change, and she flees. He wouldn't be running because he's the Witch King. I can't believe I thought that it had unlimited uses. That would be insanely broken. I guess I can't read. But yeah, that healing did really come in freaking clutch there. Oh my god, Skarr, the absolute Chad. I think I remember, I remember being in the chat at the time with this game going on, and I missed quite a bit of it. And I just saw at the very end that Skarr, it managed to pay for himself, I believe. Yes, 1864. He managed to pay for himself, if not get really bloody close. And I was like, I gotta catch this freaking game. I gotta cast it. Especially because I remember hearing Black complaining that his Supreme Sorceress was not actually freaking hitting Valkia, which is absolutely hilarious. But yeah, wow. Freaking Skarr, that's what I'm talking about. Absolutely showing up the rest of the Khornate lords, aside from Skarbrand. Actually, no, I'm just gonna say heroes. There's too many Khornate hero lords that actually would be better than Skarr in this case. But of course, they're lords. He's a hero. We just compare him to heroes. He just outshows the rest of the heroes on the Khornate side. I mean, Skyla? Who? Skyla literally who? When you have freaking Skarr here? Hell yeah. Absolutely did Khorne proud. He actually made it so he didn't regret wasting his time resurrecting Skarr. 1227 here on Valkia. Not too shabby. Exactly kind of what I expect from Valkia. She did exactly what her job was there to do. She did her job. English is hard. 1864 on Skarr Bloodwrath. I hope I'm saying it. It's the Skarr Bloodwrath. The Skarr. Yeah, there we go. I was thinking of Blood Reaper for a moment, but that's totally different. But yeah, doing pretty solid in the Cold One Knights. Pretty much everything on the battlefield there, aside from the Scourge Runner Chariots, which I don't think he really had much to deal with, but I could be wrong. But yeah, he fought Cold One Knights, did not care. Fought the Supreme Sorceress on a freaking Black Dragon, didn't care. Cleave through Bleak Swords, through Black Orc Corsairs. Skarr the Chad really just won it off for Khorne. Wanted to make Dad proud, and he did. The Khorne Gores did fine. Really didn't do fine. 252, 426, but you know, it's fine. It's not that big of a that they didn't pay for themselves. Minos. They all did wonderful work. Exactly what you'd expect. Despite the circumstances that they got themselves caught in with the Supreme Sorceress and Cold One Knights. But also Scourge Runner Chariots just did good shooting at them as well, just slowly picking off models or slowly chipping away at their HP. 3102 on the Supreme Sorceress, no surprise there. Dragon character with terror, always terrifying infantry, and the breath attacks just doing obviously fantastic work majority of the time, aside from that one iffy shot on Minos. But yeah, Soul Stealer just paying massive dividends, constantly healing her and doing pretty solid damage into some of these blobs. But also, she killed Valkia as well, so she just absolutely bit the head off of that exalted Khorne champion there. Made easy work of her. Buried her in the sand, for sure. 996 and 1061 on the Scourge Runner Chariots. Yeah, they did they did pretty good there. They, I think Black was talking about how like Harry wish he brought something else, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, I like them against just shoot at Minos. They can kite them back and slowly chip away at them, or like say Skarbrand if he's brought for some reason, or an Exalted Bloodthirster, etc. Just shoot away at large target ships, chip them away. Pretty nice. But especially Minos, because they're not super heavily armored, and even if they were, the Scourge Runner Chariots have pretty good AP values. The Blackrock Crusaders played pretty good dividends there. 946 and 1040 on this one. Did pretty fantastic. Just I think I liked them a lot in this matchup because majority of the time the only mobile units you're going to see are maybe some Chaos Warhounds or Furies. Flesh Hounds aren't brought that often because of Flesh Hound reasons. They just don't really trade all that well, they don't really pay for themselves all that well in this matchup where there's a lot of Cold One Knights. So typically not worth bringing. But yeah, and these guys can hold themselves well in melee, so they can fight back Chaos Warhounds very easily and Furies, especially with their armor helping out. Bleak Swords, they did Bleak Swords things, and yeah, Cold One Knights unfortunately got crumped. This one got 1150 still, not bad. But yeah, the Minos they were the answer to those Cold One Knights. Yeah, solid game there. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys had as much fun watching this game as I did casting it. I'll catch you guys next time with another one. Bye bye.